it is time that we vote for change. And I believe Marco Lopez is a man of great character. He is a man of faith.
That was Talonya Adams, a former Democratic policy advisor under Katie Hobbs when Hobbs was Democratic leader in the state Senate. Adams was fired in 2015 and went on to win a $2.8 million judgment in federal court. A jury decided Adams was the victim of racial and gender discrimination by the state Senate. Now Adams is endorsing Hobbs' challenger in the Democratic primary for governor, former Nogales mayor and Homeland Security official Marco Lopez. Lopez is using Adams' story to rally Democrats to his side. Welcome back to Square Off.
Thank you, Bram. Good morning. It's great to be here.
Why do you think Talonya Adams' story should resonate with voters?
Well, I think that it's about the Arizona that we have versus the Arizona that we want. And if we want to bring people together with that coalition that I've been building over the last 15 months, the only coalition that can help Democrats win, Bram, rural Arizonans, Native American, Latinos, African American, Asian Americans, the margins are very slim here in Arizona for a Democrat to be able to win. And we have to be literally firing on all cylinders by bringing people together, visiting rural Arizona in our communities throughout our state, 15 counties and 22 tribes. If we can't do that, if we can't, as Democrats, build that coalition, we just can't win. So it's important that voters recognize what's at stake, and if there are any deficiencies in any individual's ability to build that coalition, it'll leave voters out, not wanting to engage, and the Democrats lose. And now we know that it has the impact of Democratic candidates up and down the ballot. I'm not willing to take that risk. That's why we're in every single place that we get invited to, and my opponent isn't. That's why it matters.
So I don't hear you speaking specifically to why that case you believe should rally voters to your side.
Well, because of the stakes, Bram. That case represents my opponent being the only candidate in the country with a record of discrimination. You cannot win in a Democratic primary where we are a party of unity, bringing people together, embracing our diversity, and then have a candidate that is, again, the only one in the country with a record of discrimination. That's not acceptable to Democrats that I'm talking to across this state, Bram, and it is important now more than ever that voters recognize that they do have a choice. This is a primary. Unlike some of the establishment wanting to choose and coronate their candidate, no, I think voters are rejecting that. And so this is why I'm excited and honored to have the endorsement of Ms. Adams.
So here's the challenging question. You've been campaigning for more than a year now, I believe. The most recent poll shows, late May, you at 9% support, Secretary of State Katie Hobbs at 43, 45% support, a large number of undecided. What does it say to voters that after a year, you've only been able to break through with 9% of the voting population?
It says to voters that it's about them voting. It's not about what the polls or the pundits or the political strategists that will be on this show and are on all of the political shows. It's about visiting and talking and being in the living room polls. In the living room polls, they talk to me about why they want to make sure that we're funding education, why they want a candidate that is going to stand up for women's rights and abortion rights, reproductive rights in our state, who's going to have the ability to stand up and face the challenge that we're going to have on the Republican side. That's what those voters are telling me. That's what the community polls that I'm in every single day tell me. So look, the reality is, Bram, had we not, if those numbers are correct, which I know they're not, if those numbers are correct, she wouldn't be advertising on this channel and on other channels. If that was the comfortable lead, we know that there is about a 40% undecided number out there. That's what we're chasing. You can only chase it if you're actually talking to the voters and aren't taking them for granted. And that's what I think people are fed up with. They're fed up with the apparatus wanting to dictate who the candidate needs to be. Arizona is moving forward. We're not going to take that anymore. And that's the message that I hear every single day when you're out there in our communities. And I invite you to join me in any one of these trips, in any one of these conversations, Bram, and ask the voters yourself. Don't take it from an analysis or an analyst. Go talk to voters.
So when we ask candidates about the path to victory, one part of that path is lined with money. And Katie Hobbs has been fortunate. The campaign, the election issue has been huge in Arizona. She's Secretary of State, the state's top elections officer. She's been able to get a lot of free media. in interviews, but also has raised a significant amount of money, I believe $4 million now. Where's your money going to come from to help you break through in advertising right now as voters are making their decisions? Those ballots are in their hands right now.
Those ballots are in their hands, and we are advertising in both English language and in Spanish, because we know that in Arizona, 2.5 million Latinos speak, 84% of them speak Spanish, and I'm the only candidate that is talking directly to them. I've been on the radio and on TV, directly engaging with voters that, for the past, have been ignored. And we see these examples in Texas. So if it was all about money, we would have Michael Bloomberg as president today, Bram. And it's not about that. It's about listening. It's about engaging. It's about giving people hope and understanding that if we're going to lead this state into the next decade of success, we need someone that is going to listen to them, talk to them, and take their hopes and their dreams and turn them into public policy that is going to impact and affect them on education, on healthcare, on jobs, on water, on homelessness, on home affordability, on all the issues that voters care about. Right. That's what I'm talking to them about.
I'll end with a question I asked candidates, and I asked Karen Taylor Robeson. If Katie Hobbs, your opponent, wins the Democratic primary, will you pledge to support her in the general election?
Well, what is clear every single day is that she's not going to win the primary race, and I look forward to getting her support on August 3rd.
Marco Lopez, thanks very much for joining us. Best of luck.
Thank you, Bram.